This week, we're trying Allegris business class on a flight from Chicago to Munich. Allegris is Lufthansa's long-awaited and, well, long-delayed new cabin experience. We'll touch on why it's so delayed, why its unique seating layout is such a big, profitable mess, and we'll see why, well, the actual experience is also a bit of a mess.
And what's your final destination?
Hamburg. Thank you. All right, welcome back to another video. Just got checked in there. So we're flying to Munich with Lufthansa. First time ever doing that. The bag situation's a little bit out of control here. I once again have to chug my water. I don't have a checked bag. My checked bag is back in Europe, England, just waiting for me. So this was a quick trip to America with just carry on. But no, we're trying the new Allegris business class today. Allegris experience. I'm literally standing over here because it's the only spot that's semi-well lit. This whole terminal is like dark. Allegris, what is it? From the outside, this whole thing looks a bit ridiculous. To preface this all, Allegris is a whole cabin experience for long-haul travel by Lufthansa. They announced this in 2017 as part of a 2.5 billion euro investment into passenger experience. This was all of the classes, the whole plane, first all the way through to economy. It took them 7 years to actually get the first plane rolled out with this new interior. The whole thing's a bit of a mess, and I don't even know where to start. There's first class issues, there's 787 issues, there's 747 issues. I don't know. Let's just start from the start.
Before I completely go in on Lufthansa, I do want to quickly say that they have definitely been impacted by all of the mess going on with Boeing here. Allegris was announced in 2017 and was supposed to debut on their new 777Xs in 2020. Of course, the 777X program has faced significant delays, and now they're not even expecting their first 777-9s until 2026 at the earliest. And this all depends on whatever happens over at Boeing, of course. This doesn't excuse them completely or really much at all, so let's get into the multitude of issues Lufthansa has had with the rollout of this Allegris experience.
Going in.
And firstly, I'm going to mainly talk about the business class part of Allegris here. It does involve new seats throughout the whole cabin, but we'll focus on the business class today. If I ever end up in that first class seat, then we can talk about that. To preface this, Lufthansa has been quite late to the game in terms of having a decently competitive business class product. They didn't have lie-flat seats until 2012, and their business class product was quite frankly pretty bad. They weren't very private, and not all the seats had direct aisle access. For reference here, British Airways was the first airline to introduce lie-flat seats in 1999, and most large carriers had decent products by 2012. Either way, let's just make it clear, they're well overdue for an update. So they announced this thing in 2017. It's first meant to be installed on the 777Xs and then retrofit onto the A350s, 787s, and the 747-8s. Lufthansa is one of the few airlines that operate a reasonable fleet of them. But of course, the 777Xs are massively delayed and, well, COVID happens. And as far as I can tell, Lufthansa really didn't say much about Allegris up until 2022, when they announced that they were going to install it in newly delivered A350s and 787s from 2023. And this is when the fun begins.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's start with the A350s. At the end of 2023, the start of 2024, the first two A350s that were supposed to have Allegris get delivered to Lufthansa. But then they get flown straight into storage due to delays with their seat suppliers. The seats just aren't ready. So for 3 months, these planes are just
hanging around.
They're finally fitted out, ready to fly in May of 2024. Except, due to supply chain issues, they didn't have first class seats. Instead, the space that should have been first class just featured a row of blocked off economy seats. They have finally started to fit first class from the factory, and as far as I can tell, as of mid-April 2025, they have 9 A350s flying in total with Allegris. 6 of them have the full cabins, while 3 are still missing those first class seats. Oh, also, it's not just first class. The first row of economy seats are currently blocked off as they haven't been certified. How can just the first row not be certified? Well, there's no bulkhead wall between economy and premium economy on this A350 configuration. The premium economy seats have a hard shell, and so the first row of economy seats require a seatbelt airbag. Problem is, they haven't got this certified yet. So for almost a year, they've been flying around with this first row completely blocked off, unsellable. So the A350 rollout was a pretty big mess. But let's just say the mess gets even bigger. There's more. The 787 Dreamliners. Lufthansa currently flies 5 of these, but these were bought used from Hainan, the Chinese airline, and so they don't have Allegris installed. They've got a kind of nice business class seat, to be honest, but let's just focus on the 22 new Dreamliners that they've ordered from Boeing. Currently, 15 of them are complete, but they're sitting in storage, again, with certification issues. This time though, it's the actual Allegris business class seat. And you might be thinking, how can they be flying these around on the A350 and then simultaneously have 787s grounded due to them not being certified? Well, these seats need to be certified by the FAA as these planes are being delivered in the US, but also seats do need to be certified for each type of plane that they're used on. If a seat passes on one type, it should be a fairly simple process to get it certified on everything else though. So what's going on here? Well, Lufthansa has gone for a split supplier strategy here. Allegris is a wholly new seating concept designed just for them, but when it came to producing the business class seats, they've split the manufacturing between Thomson Aero for the 777X, Collins Aerospace for the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A330, and Stelia for the Airbus A350 and Boeing 747. I have no idea why they would do this. I'm imagining it was some sort of cost-cutting measure, trying to get them to compete with each other, or maybe this had to do with production times. Either way, it doesn't appear to be working out. The Collins version of the Allegris business class seat has faced massive delays in the certification process, with some speculating that they may have actually failed some of the crash tests. There hasn't been any official reasons given as this certification is still ongoing, but it still means that Lufthansa has a bunch of these planes just hanging around. So that's the Dreamliners, but let's move on to the 747-8, and this is where things get really goofy. The 747 presents a few unique design considerations. Firstly, you've got the main and upper deck with different cabin widths, and you've also got the curved nose. You would think this would all have been thought out by the bigwigs at Lufthansa during the 7+ years they've had to work on this design.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Well, no. It seems like they actually just forgot that they had 747s in their fleet, because this is the plan. Are you ready? The first step will be installing Allegris business class seats on only the lower deck. They'll install 48 seats down there, but keep 32 of the old style of business class seats upstairs. This is because they'll have to redesign and reconfigure the Allegris seat to work in the narrow upper deck on the 747. So in the near future, they're going to have an old and new business class seat on the same plane. How are they going to allocate those?
How, Sway?
Are they just going to charge extra for the new seat? I mean, surely that's what they're going to have to do, right?
You ain't got the answers, man.
Anyway, at some point, they're currently guiding for 2027, they'll update the upper deck and install the new Allegris first class in the nose. This will be once they have all the design and engineering worked out, which in and of itself is a little bit crazy considering they only have 19 of these jets and will eventually retire them. So that's the very messy rollout of Allegris, right? Well, no. It continues. Lufthansa is not just Lufthansa. They also own several other European airlines, including but not limited to Austrian Airlines, Brussels Airlines, Swiss Airlines. Let's stop on Swiss for a second. Lufthansa is initially rolling out Allegris to their own jets, but they'll also install it on their subsidiaries, and Swiss is one of the first. They're getting a rebranded version called Swiss Senses. It's the same seats, but in a different color scheme. Cool. So what possible problems could Swiss be having with these seats? Well, the new first and business class seats are significantly heavier than their predecessors, whilst the economy seats are generally getting lighter. And this has led to a bit of an issue on the Swiss A330s. The center of gravity has shifted and it's made the plane nose heavy. As a result, and I can't really believe this, they have to install a 1.5 ton weight in the back of the plane in order to balance out the heavy first class seats. This will of course increase fuel burn and to some extent limit the cargo capacity or range. We talked about weight and range in last week's A321 XLR video, so go check that out if you haven't seen it already. Either way, this is only affecting the Swiss A330s. Lufthansa undoubtedly had to update their cabins, but at what cost? This was an incredibly ambitious project, and as we'll get to shortly, they probably focused too much on having too many different options over actually just making the best seat. And on top of that, they've completely bungled the rollout. With all of that being said, let's go see what it's actually like to fly on.
But first I need a snack in the lounge, maybe a shower. I don't know, these are United clubs. That's what Lufthansa gets you into here in Chicago. So I got no idea what the quality's like. I don't know, I guess we just have to go and find out. The guy during check-in did give me a tip that I think he said there's one right next to the gate, B10, but B6 is nicer. Got about an hour and 15 until boarding, so definitely not in a rush today like I have been in the past. This terminal's definitely got Home Alone vibes. It's also got a Chili's. I'll go, my baby back, baby back, baby back.
Get 2 vouchers for you for premium drinks.
Oh, wow.
Enjoy.
I don't think I'm going to drink it though. So that lounge was fine. Flight boards in 7 minutes. I'm actually going to try and be early on this one.
Here you are, Mr.
Thank
B.
you.
Of course. We'll take a trip.
Here we go. I think there's 7 different types of seats in business class, which is a bit odd.
Before we get into the seat, we've got to talk about the incredible, insane, wild seating layout that Lufthansa's got here in this business class cabin. But quick trivia question. What's the most profitable cabin on a plane? Is it business class, first class? I'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and leave your answer in the comments down below. Okay, we're running with the honesty system here. I'm trusting that you left your comment now. But the answer is premium economy. Crazy, right? Well, at least this is the most profitable cabin for Lufthansa. During an earnings call in 2021, Carsten Spohr, Lufthansa's CEO, stated that, and I quote, "Premium economy has been a great success. It has higher margins per square meter than business class, economy class, or first class." This makes sense with the amount charged for premium economy. It's often 2 or 3 times the price of economy. Business class can be 5 or 10 times that price, but that premium economy seat is only slightly larger than a standard economy seat. This is why so many airlines globally are rolling out premium economy cabins. But this brings us to our topic here, market segmentation. In marketing, market segmentation is the process of dividing your customers up into meaningful subgroups that you can then market different products to. Like much of marketing theory, it's quite simple in reality. Airlines have traditionally had a very blunt tool to clearly separate these segments. Travel classes. Economy is for the group that's price sensitive, business class is for your upper middle class and the business traveler, and well, first class is for the rich and famous, or at least the not quite rich or famous enough to travel private. Either way, it seems that this blunt tool was indeed quite blunt, and by introducing a class between economy and business, airlines have unlocked a whole other segment that would have otherwise just traveled in economy. The cashed up baby boomer segment, who can't quite afford business class but will happily pay twice an economy fare for a bit more legroom and a slightly better meal. So what does this have to do with Allegris business class specifically? Well, Lufthansa has managed to include 5 different types of business class seat in the Allegris cabin. They've got business suites in the first row, there's a double suite in the center, and single suites by the windows. These have a door and extra high walls around them to offer masses of privacy. There's extra space throne seats. These are in the center and are unique spacious seats with extra work surfaces. There's window seats with just more privacy. There's seats with extra long beds. These feature a 2.2 meter bed compared to 2 meters on the rest of the seats. And then there's the classic business class seat. These are out on the aisle and are fairly unremarkable as far as business class seats go. And guess what? Of course, they've got 5 different prices to reserve these seats. Here's the prices for shorter haul, medium haul, and long haul. So if you want a window seat with extra privacy, it'll cost you anywhere from €100 up to €170, depending on how long your flight is. If you don't reserve a seat, then all of the seats will open up at 30 hours before departure, and you can pick any of the remaining seats for free. This turns the whole seat selection process into a pay-for-play game. Either wait and try to snipe a good seat at the last minute, or pay up early for a guaranteed nicer seat. What Lufthansa has sort of done here is segment the business class cabin in a way that we've seen no other airline do up until this point. It's a sneaky business move that'll allow them to squeeze extra revenue out of an already pricey cabin. And this makes tons of business sense. They are, to some degree, leaving money on the table otherwise. But personally, I just don't like feeling like I'm being penny pinched, especially in an already expensive cabin. And I think this may end up being a problem in the long run. This huge difference in seat offering is just confusing for the average Joe. Most people won't be bothered to research the seat map before their flight, and well, if you're traveling with a loved one, you're almost being forced to pay up just to guarantee that you'll be seated together. This really just makes me appreciate airlines like Cathay who've gone with reverse herringbone seats. Every seat in this style of cabin is practically the same in terms of what you end up getting. Anyway, congratulations if you're a Lufthansa shareholder. Despite massively messing up the Allegris rollout, this will likely still be a very profitable cabin for the airline, to the detriment of the passengers. I was lucky enough to be able to reserve one of the private window seats without having to pay any extra. During the initial rollout phase of Allegris, Lufthansa wasn't charging the crazy premium seat selection fees. As of the 30th of March 2025 though, these fees are now in place. So if you're flying Allegris soon, sorry. Or sorry to your bank account.
Just the water. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome drinks. This is water, but it just kind of tastes like flat sparkling water, but it's got that weird chemically taste to it or something. It's supposed to just be flat water, I think. And then we've got welcome nuts. I prefer them on a nice little tray, but very well salted. Walnuts, cashews, I don't know, it's hard to see because they're in a bag. We're off to a strange start with Lufthansa here. They call it your welcome moment. Your welcome moment is a brown paper bag full of nuts. Interesting. I think there's a Brazil nut in there. That was huge.
Befinden, blasen Sie Ihre Schwimmweste auf.
Alright, so we took off 20 minutes ago. I thought, I think the meal service is going to start soon, but let's quickly talk about tech, because the tech here is one of the big deals. Obviously, this seat was introduced in 2017, so the tech could be considered a little bit outdated, but actually it's sort of up to date. It's up to date or cool. Where do we start? Firstly, this screen, I guess. Let's just start right off the bat. I'm pretty sure it's an 18-inch 4K screen. Can you see the pixels? No, the screen looks ridiculous. It's a really nice screen. 18 inches is probably a little bit on the small side. That's what she said. In today's terms, I think Emirates is fitting in, was it 23 or 24 inches? I want to say Cathay Pacific is similar there. It's not small by any means. It's just not huge. The chicken? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. They are incredibly pushy on closing the windows, which is funny because... English, yeah.
We think we can close the shades because we expect sunrise pretty.
Oh, yeah, okay. Like now? Or?
Whenever you're ready, you can...
Before bed, so.
Anyway, got some sort of prawn skewer thing for starters, plus I had to do the beer because German beer culture, they talk about it in the thing they sold me. And some water, of course. So, cheers.
I see how small you are.
Meal has arrived. I went with a chicken and mash and, I guess, corn, barbecue sauce, tiniest chicken thigh I've ever seen. And then there's something with artichoke or something going on over here. It's my hand for reference. It's not big. Let's just put it that way. Chicken is good, but it's kind of so small, I'm a bit like... Are we sure that's chicken thigh, not quail or something? Because it's tiny. Barbecue sauce overpowers it all. It's like a Walmart barbecue sauce. It's fine. This is marginally better than a microwave meal, I'd say. That's where we're at here. Also, this bread, she gave it to me like from the basket. She accidentally like knocked one onto the floor. Fair enough. We all make mistakes. It's still down there. She didn't pick it up. Will it get picked up on this flight? Place your bets in the comments down below. Who knows? I mean, I could just pick it up, and I probably will just pick it up at some point, but I'm taking bets. All round, that was all okay. Yeah, the herb tea, please. Yeah, and the fruit. Thank you. All right, we're going from the beer to the herb tea. Morbid thought, though. You could definitely bottle someone with this, eh? They've just given me this. It's a pretty solid bottle. Morbid, but you could, right? I guess you pretty quickly get subdued. It's only a glass bottle. It's not a real weapon. Okay, got the fruit now. Small, but honestly kind of exotic, I guess, with the dragon fruit. And it looks very nice. And then also a herbal tea. It's called the Relax, so I'm just going to gamble that it doesn't have caffeine in it. Otherwise, I will not be falling asleep on this flight. Otherwise, very rapid meal service. I got to give it to them. We've been in the air for under an hour and it's pretty much done, so got to give them credit for that. And the fruit's all pretty ripe. All right, not the pineapple. Not the pineapple. Okay, so this tray table is seriously one of the biggest ones I've ever seen in business class, so that's a thumbs up. But look how it closes. It's kind of got a weird mechanism. So you fold that over. It's like quiet close as well. And that can come out. So if you just want like a normal size tray table, you got that. But then you can also flip it up to get mega tray table and then fold it in underneath the TV. And that's where it lives. Honestly, pretty impressive. In the lavatory now, just the one in front of that little business class cabin. It's actually, you know what? They have actually this Allegris thing. They have done something here. Like, look at that. It's quite classy. I got all these lights going on. This whole like bench thing. It's quite classy. Also, we've got foot pedal bin. Love to see that as well. In terms of amenities, we've got hand and body lotion, sleep body mist, mouthwash, and then a bunch of like refreshing towels. Not bad. Oh, there's also more mouthwash and stuff up here as well. Not a bad sort of spread, I guess, if you can call it that. Gotta say, one of the more impressive toilets. Let's just put it that way. Amenity kit. This is what was included. We got socks, an eye mask, earplugs, like a mint. Got earphone covers for the headphones. So, you need protection from your headphones. I personally don't like protection, so I'm leaving them in here. And then we've got a L'Occitane skincare kit. I really don't want to put anything on the surfaces, so I'll just tell you what's in the bottom of this. This is just a little toothbrush and toothpaste as well. Anyway, I'm just going to brush my teeth and then get ready for bed because, yeah, it's a 7-hour flight and we're like an hour into it, and I wouldn't mind getting at least 4 hours on this flight. All right, all ready for bed. Quick note, it does seem like the crew has just forgotten about everyone. Just got like a mug of tea and everything just sitting there. No one's kind of given any care about that. And then also, bread is still there. Anyway, I'm going to put this thing into bed mode, which you do on this big screen, which we'll get to in the morning. Hold down the sleep button. You go quite a long way that way. This plane is not very old, and we've already got one panel starting to come apart here. Don't know about that, but apart from that, it does seem like a pretty good bed. Bedding is maybe a little weak. We've got a pillow, which actually seems like a decent pillow, but I'll let you know in the morning, and like a blanket, a pretty healthy blanket. No mattress pad here. If Allegris really wanted to be world class, give us a mattress pad, but it is what it is. You just have to sleep on this gross seat that everyone's been sleeping on, but that's what hoodies are for, I guess, and clothes are for. I'll let you know how the seat is in 4 or 5 hours, I guess. So we've got 2 hours and 40 minutes or something until landing, and I thought, like, why are the cabin lights on so early? Are we about to have a bloody 7-course breakfast or something? But no. And like, what the point of... They were coming around and telling us to close them all. She like forcefully telling me to close the windows last night. I usually try not to be annoying on planes, but let's see how long they take to come, and I'm going to ask them about the window, and I also need some more water, so... See, now I'm just getting annoyed. Like, look at this. Bread is still on the floor. I've got like all of the stuff from dining last night is just sitting there. They've walked past multiple times. What is going on here? Hello. Is it possible to get some more water?
Instantly became another person.
Okay, so before I could even ask, I think it made them realize. I don't know if they had to wake the guy up or like lean over him or something, but we got it closed and I didn't even have to ask. So, all right, points there, and she did clean everything up. So, Lufthansa, they're not proactive, but when you give them a shove, they do something. So I've not been able to sleep anymore after that whole dude having his window open ordeal. Terrible night's sleep. And like, I guess more generally, the bed is comfortable and it's definitely got its pros, but there's definitely some cons here. Now, of course, I'm in the window. I don't even know how they describe this. This is, I guess, the more private window seat. Long story short, the length is, if my feet are flat against the end of the bed, I've got maybe like quite a bit of headroom, like 6 inches or something. The footwell is quite big actually and quite wide. Generally good footwell. No particular complaints with foot claustrophobia here, but it's not perfect down there.
there is a humongous gap in the side of the seat, like big enough that you can fit your leg down it. Yeah. Now, this is one of those things that you might just be thinking, well, your legs will just bridge the gap, so what's the problem? Firstly, I noticed it quite a bit, to be honest. My foot was hitting the edge of the ottoman there, especially if you're a side sleeper and you've got your feet out like this. Yeah, definitely could be a bit annoying. Also, if you're a significantly shorter person, then it might become quite annoying. You might almost like semi-roll off the bed, if that makes sense on that side. Weird design. My guess here is that they're trying to standardize that piece across all of the seats in the cabin, and so that's why we've got that, which is definitely not ideal. So that's the legs. What is it like up top? Generally, the width between these two armrests is fine. If neither of them dropped, it wouldn't be a major problem. It is slightly annoying. The inner one does drop, which is strange. This one does not drop, and this is probably the more annoying one that you'd want to drop, because it would be nice to be able to stretch out towards the edge of the plane. All around this particular seat, this window seat, it's good. I like it. I guess I generally disagree with the whole concept of having 7 different types of business class seats, and it's not the best. I still think Q Suites is better. I still think there's a few niche business class seats like Oman Air and stuff like that that are better seats and more standardized. This particular seat, and I keep on having to say that because they've got so many different bloody designs in this cabin, this particular seat is good. This is in the top 5 that I've ever sat in, really. I've already got a bloody headache. This is going to be a long day. Seriously, that guy. I want to fight that guy, seriously. I saw a tweet and it was like, airports, airplanes, not a bad place to start a fight, because you know that the other person won't have a knife. You know they won't have a gun. I was saying this to... Who was I? I was saying this to someone, though. It might have been Tom. And then I think he made a good point, which is like, yeah, but you end up on the no-fly list, so there's always that to deal with. I might just go start a fight with this guy, because who the hell spatial awareness? I could go on about this guy forever, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Let's talk about the seat and seat tech. It's all controlled through this screen here. It's humongous. I think this is a 10-inch touchscreen. Oh, she's a little heavy, but we've got basically the controls for everything on this screen. We've got all your entertainment. Okay, come on, stop it. It's like a bad iPad. This is like an iPhone from 10 years ago. You can control all the entertainment from here. I'll get into that a little bit later though. You've got the flight info, which is the maps. It can all run on this or on the main screen. We've got the flight cameras as well, which they've actually got 5 on this plane, which is... I've never seen that. I don't know. That seems like a lot. I've never seen that before. We've got the one that goes straight down. We've got obviously the tail cam. We've got, I think that's like the front gear cam, just pointing forwards but from below. But then you got these two. You got one just pointing out the left side, and then one just pointing out the right side. I've never seen the right and the left side ones before, so that's a nice addition, I guess. But apart from that, you can control the seats from here. You can move the position of the seat. You can adjust the cushion firmness, which is just, I guess, airbags in the seat. And you can control the seat heating or cooling. I wasn't sure if this was like a general seat heating, like if it changed the air vents, or what. It's like seat heating and cooling in a fancy car. So in the heating, it just starts warming you up. In the cooling, it just blows some cool air on your back, which is, to be fair, quite nice. But I did have problems here. Basically, the cushion firmness would keep on resetting to the firmest setting after like 20 minutes. And also the heating and cooling would just turn off after like 20 minutes. So you can't just sleep with it on all night. I was enjoying a little bit of cooling while I was sleeping, but it would just stop after like 20 minutes. So that's annoying. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if my seat's broken or what. Otherwise, you can just control the cabin light and the ambient seating light. Okay, breakfast has arrived. But quickly, the actual flight attendant serving me, she's lovely. Like, she's very, very hospitable, very nice as a person, but she spilled the coffee everywhere, trying to put the tray down. Stuff happens. But also, I got the croissant, and she's like, do you want marmalade with it? She had like marmalade, Nutella, some jams. And I was like, oh yeah, marmalade sounds good. Marmalade, please. She just handed me the strawberry jam. Tomato, strawberry, orange. It's all the same, isn't it? Service is not amazing. It's basically like they're friendly enough, but in terms of actually doing things, they're a bit, how you going? Anyway, that's a very sour Greek yogurt with some fruit. Pretty good. I guess Germany's more known for its raw manufacturing prowess than it is for its customer service, so what can you really expect? That was all fine, the croissant was fine, but finally we've got the meat and cheese bowl. This is the opposite of a Baltic breakfast. I'll leave the cheese bit there. the ham, the salami for breakfast, not sure. But good. We'll take it. We'll take it. Got the oat milk latte in the Lufthansa cup. Just raw dogging it onto the table. We have never heard of a coaster. Anyway, you know what I think of the service at this point. Let's talk about the screen. I've decided it's not that important that I actually talk about the content because it changes, but let's just talk about the interesting things here. Firstly, we do have Bluetooth audio. I haven't used it because the actual headphones haven't been too bad here. They're AKG. I think they are noise cancelling. I've just been using them. They're fine, but you can connect your own Bluetooth headphones. Obviously, it's got the same seat controls and everything as we had on the other one, but I will talk about something in the entertainment that's weird. So obviously, they've got a decent selection of movies. You can select your languages, all that. Again, not going to talk about the content because it changes. Let's talk about this, though. When you go in here, this is the strangest thing I think I've seen in a long time on these systems. Say we go to comedy shows, and then let's go to, okay, Colin from Accounts, Australian show, strange that it's here, but it's seemingly showing up on all the planes at the moment. Season 2, 6 episodes. That's not incredible. I prefer box sets, but 6 episodes is better than 1, or it's better than 2, but it's super weird. Are you ready? You click on it. Yeah, okay, you scroll down. Episodes, 1. There is a sole episode here. Where's the other 6 episodes? Well, guess what? You have to do this. You have to, I figured it out. They're not lying when they said 6 episodes. You have to click in, you have to watch an ad, you have to click episodes, and then you get all of the selection. So you can't just see all the episodes from the main screen. You have to start watching the first one available and then select the episodes thing to then see the rest of the episodes that you could watch. I don't know what sort of weird German process this is, but this is the opposite of efficiency. That's about it in that front. Well, actually, there's one more thing. This is ridiculous. Would you like to navigate on the control panel? You hit yes. Now you get control. So now you can pause the screen. Currently, TV is paused, and if I want to play it again, I can hit the touch screen on the side. That is controlling the screen. But say you wanted to hit play on the screen, right? Like you're just sitting here, you go, oh yeah. You have to, would you like to navigate on this screen? You have to like take over control back on this one. It is weird. I do not like how they've designed this operating system. This is terrible UI, because now this screen is completely dead, and if I want to say check the flight map, you have to say take over control here. You can have multiple things running, so like we've got the flight map here, and then the screen is still going with the TV. So I guess in that regard, it's all right. But essentially, you have to keep this in control mode. You have to control the TV from this display. Because otherwise, if I go and hit play over here, basically it's now being controlled by that screen, and then this one goes dead. Bad UI, bad design, bad programming. Not a fan on that front, but for a company that messed up this rollout so bad, I guess that's what we can expect. Finally, let's talk about what's going on over here. Pop out light, an air vent, and you control the air vent with these little things here. Obviously, we got the big screen, and then you've kind of got this like table area. Kind of got this storage bit here that can close like this. That's sort of your storage during landing and takeoff, or takeoff and landing. Otherwise, you don't have a whole lot of other space to store your stuff, but it's a pretty big area to put your stuff, so no real complaints there. I didn't struggle for space too much with this seat. And then otherwise, we've got single pin normal headphone jack, USB-A charger, standard AC outlet, and then a 60-watt USB-C port. Love to see that. For reference, that port charged my iPhone 15 Pro Max, whatever, from 35% to 100% in like 2 hours or an hour. It was very fast. Let's just put it that way. Love to see that. Now we've also got over here a I don't know if you can see that, wireless charging, except it's probably the hardest one to find the point for, and then it instantly stops working. Or you see, like it just did it then. It's not charging now. It starts charging again. It's like, I just don't think it works. I've been trying to charge that phone there all night, and it just like either goes on or off or just slips off the pad when there's a bit of movement. I think they need to make this surface more rubberized. It doesn't work. I'm going to say the wireless charger just basically doesn't work. That one's just a bit of terrible design. You had 7 years, guys. I guess it wasn't flying, so they didn't know that slight movement could knock it off the charging pad or something, but this is not Allegris. There's not even a foot pedal in, so honestly,
remarkably clean for the end of the flight. This is just the one in economy, just behind premium economy. There was just a huge queue for all the business class toilets, so I just thought, I'll just walk backwards, see what's in the back.
As we come into land, I guess, final thoughts. This seat is good. It's up there with the best, at least this window seat, and that's the main thing here. Lufthansa has, I was going to say successfully segmented. I guess we'll have to wait and see on if it is actually successful. I mean, if they can price it all right, it's going to be profitable. But it's also not great, I think, for the end user experience, the end traveler. This bugs me. I can see everyone's heads. You can kind of see that there. And then you've got the special suites with the doors. They've just got a higher barrier. All of these seats should have a higher barrier. Q Suites has got a higher barrier. They're purposefully making these seats, some of these seats, worse in order to differentiate the nicer seats, which is just one of these things that I just don't like personally. Oh, I am tired. I seriously want to fight that guy up front. No, violence is never the answer, kids. Or is it? No, it's not. Come on.
I hope you all enjoyed that video. Make sure you go and follow me on Instagram here. Go subscribe to Wine Tracker Plus here. Go check out flightformula.com. I have some blog posts there, but I will be writing more, and they might be there by the time you watch this video. Who knows? It's a mystery. You're going to have to go and find out. Either way, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Simon? Is that Simon?
What's Simon?
Really quick extra point. This USB port, USB-A. Let's test it. Getting like 8 watts there. Not bad.